Hi, my name is Debbie Martin. I'm here as CEO of ERA Cape Real Estate. We've been here in our West Dennis location for nearly 50 years now. We've seen a lot of changes in real estate, and there is a big change coming up, and I wanted to talk to you all about it. Several years ago, there was a class action suit by several buyers in the Midwest. And that class action suit led to an interest in that lawsuit by the Department of Justice, the DOJ. And when the DOJ got involved in the lawsuit, they decided that how real estate had been, the practice of real estate as far as commissions were concerned, may not have been the fairest way of practicing and communicating how commissions work to the public. And the Department of Justice felt that if two competing real estate companies were in collaboration over a real estate fee, that could be construed as an antitrust act. So they wanted the National Association of Realtors to make a change, and they did. So we now have, it's not terribly different in how the practice is practically managed, but what is different is how it's communicated. So let me tell you that change and explain to you as a consumer how it would affect you as a seller and how it would affect you as a buyer. As a seller now, every seller, you've always had options, but now it is clearly communicated on the listing agreement of what your options are. And your options basically come down to three. One is you don't have to address the buyer's agent in any way, shape, or form. You can just address what fee you want to pay your listing agent. And you can wait to get an offer on your property from any buyer's agent, anywhere, from any buyer that may or may not address their buyer's agent fee. The second way is you can offer, on the listing sheet, you can offer a credit to a buyer in closing costs. And a buyer can use that credit in any way they want to use it, including paying their buyer's agent or paying a bank fee or any kind of closing cost that they might have. The third option to the seller is to instruct their listing agent, the seller to instruct their listing agent to take part of the fee that they're being paid to list the property and share it with a buyer's agent. Three options. Pretty much those three options have always existed, but now they're going to be more clearly communicated. And every seller will totally understand what their options are and what the repercussions of those options are. For a seller, that's the change. Let's take a look at from the buyer's viewpoint. One thing that the DOJ has insisted on with the National Association of Realtors is any buyer who goes out to look at a property from August 17th on will need to sign a buyer's contract. And when I inquired of the Massachusetts Association of Realtors legal counsel, what do I do if a buyer doesn't want to sign a buyer's contract? His suggestion to me was that I not take the buyer out. His suggestion was that the Department of Justice wants every buyer to clearly see before they go out to look at a house what they have to do under the contract, what the buyer's agent has to do under the contract, and how the buyer's agent can be paid. And they have options as to how the buyer's agent can be paid. So the first thing that'll change for us as a company is we will begin to use buyer's agents contracts, which we've never used before, but now we will. And any buyer who wants to come into our office or go to a house and view it with one of our agents will need to enter into a buyer's contract before we can do that. And that contract will specify several things. And one of the things that it will specify is how the buyer's agent will get paid. And again, there are choices. The buyer can say, I'll agree to pay you only $1, and whatever the rest of your fee is, you're going to have to collect it from another source. The buyer could say, you know what, the seller is offering a credit, a closing credit on this property. I may decide to use that credit to pay your fee, or the buyer will be told before they view the house, in all circumstances before they view the house, that their buyer's agent has received an offer from the listing agent to share part of their fee with them. So as a buyer, before you go out to look at houses, you're going to be first given a contract, and secondly, you should have the information on every house you go to view, how the buyer's agent is getting paid. That should be easily and clearly communicated to you, so you know with every house you view what the options are. In essence, there's not a lot of changes that are taking place. Definitely not a lot of changes for the seller, because they've always had those options. And even for the buyer, in many respects, what's really being changed is how we are communicating these changes, how the buyer and seller should feel more informed, and they should feel more in charge, and they should feel that they have more options. So here at ERA, we embrace these changes. We think they're a very good thing. We have a company policy that incorporates all of the changes that the DOJ wants us to make. We're very happy to offer them to our customers and clients. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'd love to talk to you about it. Thanks for listening.